Hi, my name is Rio Wrenn and I am the artist and designer behind R A W Textiles, and this is Bella. She is my magical companion and shop dog. She has been my inspiration for many years, and I just wanted you to meet her because she's pretty cute. So I started R A W Textiles in 2009 officially because I launched a lingerie collection in which I used rust printing and natural dyes. But before that, I started doing rust processes and natural dyeing with plants and insects in 2001 as primarily a visual artist, and displaying in galleries and whatnot. And I would say that I am a self-taught artist in that I have never taken real workshops or natural dye classes except for the initial one that I took when I was in college, which kind of was a gloss over of every kind of dye process. But from there, I really just took off with the rusting process, which wasn't a process at all. It was just an image that I had seen. And but basically from all of that, I grew all of my processes and techniques, and all the work that I do today is because I explored and one thing led to the other, and now I'm at a place where I share my knowledge and teach other people and create collections and products and work with other designers. The reason why I'm actually giving you this introduction is because it's the first video I've ever done in this way. In the lieu of all this pandemic, it has really kind of changed the way we interact with others in a lot of ways, and possibly unknown for the near future of how things will unfold. But it seems that, as far as teaching and sharing, this might be a really good way to connect with others, even though personally I like to connect in real time with our eyes and spirit. So I guess that's one of my primary things that's been holding me back in creating a video, is that one-on-one intensity that I really enjoy. Making videos is also a nice way to connect with people that you don't know in a further area without having to create a carbon footprint, if you will. And so that's really the reasons why I've decided to create some videos. And the first few videos I wanted to make are going to be demonstration type of videos. They're short, kind of like samplings of creating different dye effects. So like I said, this is my first time doing this, and I really appreciate you guys being here and watching this. And I am completely open for gentle criticisms that you may have, because I am really doing this all by myself with a tripod and editing and everything. And I know that I will improve as time goes on. But any suggestions and or things you'd like to see, I would appreciate hearing back from you through comments below, or direct messaging. So the first demo I'm going to be doing is with Cotinus leaves, and it is also referred to as young fuse stick and smoke tree. So this is a pretty common plant in Portland, and it is May right now. And the reason why I'm telling you these things is because this very moment the tree is giving out this energetic force in its leaves, and I'm not actually sure if it's a flavonoid or if it's the tannins, the pigments, but at this moment in time we're going to capture what it is, because in June, July, the tree leaves change color a little bit, they get darker, and it's not the same. You can try the same experiment and you won't get the same results. So today, this month, and I don't know if wherever you're at you have to calibrate how your trees are blooming, because if you're in the East Coast it may be snowing and your fuse stick will not be producing all the leaves until maybe June. But right now here in Oregon we have trees that are giving forth in the month of May, and so we're going to harness that and share it, or I'm going to share it with you, and then we can all share it together. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to need to create our dye bath is a handful of the Cotinus leaves that I will just put, take off and put into the dye bath. And then we will need some alum, which is aluminum sulfate. And then we will need some samples of silks. So this is a raw silk. This is actually linen. I'm going to throw one in, which is a cellulose fiber. And then this is a silk as well, silk habitai. And so this is what we're going to be using. And we're going to pre-alum the fabric. And the process that I do to do that is I usually soak it overnight in a bath of the alum, and then I don't rinse it, I let it dry. So this fabric right here has already been pre-alumed, and we're also going to do one where I'm going to, in this bath, I'm going to create a fresh batch. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a very small amount of alum sulfate in the water, and you can see it's just a very small amount of water, and so I'm going to use a small amount of alum, and I'm just creating really small samples as well, because that's how I work. I like to start very small and then work my way up, because I feel like it's important to kind of get a grasp on what you're doing before you commit too much. And so basically what I've put in is a piece of linen and the raw silk and a piece of habitai, which is what I have already made that has been pre-mordanted in the alum. And this one is going to also be pre-mordanted, but it's going to be fresh. And you'll see why in a minute. So traditionally, when using the smoke tree or the young fusic, it can produce like a yellow color, and it's a heartwood. So this is like a small branch, but you can kind of see right there in the center, that is the dye right there in the center. That would be where the dye comes from. And then if we were to take a moment here, focus on this, this is the branch after it's been cut open. So you see the little ribbon in there, that is that little dot. So these are the leaves of a young fusic, also known as a smoke tree or Cotinus, and I have picked these from under the tree. They're kind of like little suckers that come up at the main trunk, and they're really super purple right now, and it is May in Portland, which is pretty much the best time to do this. And so what I'm going to do is take these leaves and I'm going to create a dye bath with them and let them soak. The bath that has been soaking for several hours on medium heat, and it's just to extract the color from the leaves, basically, and you can kind of see how it's changing. The color of the leaf is kind of changing from this really dark purple. Okay, so this is the bath, and it's ready to be filtered out. So I'm going to take this small filter here and get rid of the leaves, because we don't need them right now. So as you see, the bath is empty, and it kind of looks like it has a little bit of a purpleness to it, which it does. The linen, the silk, and the raw silk. We're going to put those in and let them soak for a little bit. Okay, so these have been soaking for maybe a minute or two, and you can see that there is purple in the color, but when I take this out, it definitely has a green color to it. And so that is kind of the magic of this, is that you're getting more of a green color. Now the cotton or the linen is still kind of blue. It's taking on a blue cast. But that is really what we're getting. The other thing I wanted to mention is that it is very high in tannin, and so that even if you get any colors, you're still going to get a contrast when you combine it with iron. So pretty much this is the rinse, and this is the color that we're getting. It's like a beautiful green. So yeah, and with the silk, it's kind of like a peppermint green or something. And. And then this is obviously in contrast to it. This is the batch of fabrics that were dyed with the alum not fully cured. So it was either put into the bath directly or it was from the fresh batch that I had dyed in alum and then immediately while it was wet put it into the bath of the Cotinus. And you can see based on the background being white that it has kind of like a blue-gray. It's hard to see with this light, but I have bamboo, two kinds of tones from the raw silk, and then there's a linen, and you see two tones of that, depending on how long you leave it in, and then there's some silk, and then the one that's the furthest to the left is a hemp cotton, and I left that one in for a good long time. And then over here you have the brilliance of the greens from the things that were dyed in the alum first, cured, and then dipped into the bath. So, except for the cotton one, which just turned out that way. It has the blue-gray. So then there's the raw silk and the habitai. This is the soy cotton. This is what I did last year, and it did turn out kind of green, and then I did it again this year, and it's the same, which you can't really tell. It's just the colors on here, it looks gray, but it actually has that green tone to it. So I believe that it has something to do with it being soy, the way it absorbs. And then these are some samples. This is a sample just to show you of the grayish color, that it still is totally enriched with tannin. And this is just a little sample I did with some iron on it. And then this one I did last year with the soy cotton, and you see how it has the green cast compared to the other one. So that was the lesson for today. I guess the takeaway is two things. One is that if you want to get this kind of greenish color to blue-gray, then you need to harvest now because the tree is giving off that energy in the leaves, and then as the year progresses it won't be. And the leaves will actually change color too. You will notice that if you pay attention. Also, to get that green color, you need to pre-mordant your fabric in alum and let it dry completely, and then put it in the concoction that we infused with the leaves. But you can, you can't go wrong unless you're really set on that green as a backdrop color. That's basically the summarization of what we did, and I hope that you can get out there and forage some smoke tree and have some fun with it. Thank you very much. Many blessings.